So here we have it, the brand new Devotion Pour Homme by Dolce&Gabbana. So this is a fragrance that just came out. Of course, we've had the women's counterpart on the market for some time now. And we also have Devotion Eau de Parfum Intense. So we've already had a flanker to the women's counterpart, but now we have the men's. And the women's, let me tell you something, vanilla, hazelnut, orange blossom, it's amazing. But the men's is a very different note breakdown. We have lemon, we have coffee, and patchouli. Nevertheless, I'm gonna be giving you my thoughts on this fragrance in just a little bit, so make sure to stay tuned. Now, before I begin today's episode and I give you my thoughts on the brand new Devotion Pour Homme by Dolce&Gabbana, I'm going to talk to you about the smell, the notes, performance, longevity comparisons, all that good stuff. But before I start the video, I do want to mention that if you're a fan of fragrance-related content, and of course, if you love smelling your best, hit subscribe, hit the bell, and give this video a thumbs up for the YouTube algorithm. It would really, really mean a lot to me. It's free for you and it goes such a long way for me. Thank you so much for watching these videos. It means everything to me. Devotion Pour Homme by Dolce&Gabbana. So coffee, lemon, patchouli. The perfumer for this is Olivier Cresp, and he's done the original Angel by Thierry Mugler. He has his own brand called Acro, which has Awake and Bake, and all of these fantastic fragrances, many of which I own. And of course, he's done countless other fragrances. I mean, his repertoire is enormous, but here we have something that is quite different from other men's fragrances on the designer side of things. We see there's a lot of freshness, right? Whether we're talking about Coach for Men, Coach Blue, Dior Sauvage, whatever, right? There's so many fresh, citrusy, ozonic, aquatic, oceanic fragrances. So lemon and coffee with an undercurrent of patchouli. This is a very different type of a fragrance, and this one was actually inspired by Olivier Cresp's trips to the Mediterranean from when he was a young boy. And he used to travel with his father, who at the time was a broker for perfume ingredients. And he's been to Sicily on any number of occasions, and he has these really fond recollections or memories of either his father or him drinking coffee, and the waiters or servers would expertly rub the lemon peel on the rim of the cup. And of course, he had this image of the lemon and the coffee, but of course, this earthiness of the patchouli really grounding the composition, working synergistically, I would say, with the other ingredients, but also granting longevity to the fragrance. Nevertheless, I'm going to give you my thoughts on the smell in just a moment. Let's start things off with a quick look at the presentation first. So right in the opening of this fragrance, you will inevitably get the coffee. And you know, the one thing that I said before was, because when I initially tried this one at Macy's, I said, Olivier Cresp, coffee. He has a fragrance in his line called Awake. And I said, I know he's used coffee before in Angel by Thierry Mugler, and countless flankers for Angel. And I said, with this one having coffee in it, I know inevitably he's gonna borrow something from Awake, and you are going to get that rich coffee that is in here, which I think is a really, really nice touch. I think the thing that I appreciate the most about this fragrance is that it's so different from everything else. And I'm also gonna be honest with you about something else, and this is very personal for me, but there's another fragrance that had coffee and lemon, or I think it's lemon, it might have been bergamot, but coffee and citrus, and it's Armani Attitude, and it's discontinued. It's been discontinued for such a long time now, and when I first tried this, I said, oh my God, this reminds me of my beloved Armani Attitude. And so I knew I had to get this. I knew it. It's such a beautiful fragrance, and I'm gonna be honest with you, if you're looking for a compliment getter, I know historically speaking, it's the freshies that do so well, but if you wanna opt for something with a bit more mystery, a bit more allure or intrigue, you're not just looking for a straight up nondescript citrus fragrance, you want something with personality. I think Devotion Pour Homme is gonna be a solid take for that. But you know, my thing is, go into the department store, go to Macy's like I did, try it for yourself, see how it works on your skin, how it resonates with your skin chemistry, your pH levels, all of that stuff. And if you're a fan of it, after you've tried it and you think you've reached a concrete verdict in terms of determining whether you love it or not, then let that be the end all be all, right? I don't want to tell you to go out there and buy this one because I think it's highly subjective and highly personal, but I do think it's a very interesting fragrance. And when I made that association between this one and Armani Attitude, I said, I'm getting this one. I know Armani Attitude was composed by Anique Minardo. Although I think it was a collaborative effort, I'm not entirely remembering right now, but I just remember looking it up and seeing her name, and I said, I think that's one of the reasons why I love this one so much, because she's done a lot of fragrances that I love, Bulgari Black. And anyway, I'm going off on a tangent. Devotion Pour Homme by Dolce & Gabbana. Try this one, go to Macy's like I did, see if you love it, and I really hope you do. I think it's a solid release from the brand. And I love it. It's a breath of fresh air. I love that it smells different from all of the other designers on the market nowadays. Let's go ahead and finish things off with my overall assessment. So first up, in terms of the uniqueness and the overall smell, okay, so I did make a comparison to Acro, Awake, and Armani Attitude, but at the end of the day, if you spray them all side by side and they're juxtaposed in a lineup, I can tell you which one is which, right? So I'm not gonna sit here and say that, you know, it smells super similar to one of those other two. It doesn't. I think it is unique enough that it warrants a purchase if you end up owning one of those others. Longevity on this one is 8 hours on skin. Projection, arm's length for the first hour of application. Versatility, it's marketed for the gentleman and it's a bit masculine leaning. You can wear this one casually or dressed up. I think this one would shine in every season except for the summer. Summertime from the brand Dolce & Gabbana, of course you can go with Dolce & Gabbana Pour Homme. You can go with light blue summer vibes, you know. Any light blue flanker for the summertime I think would be amazing. As far as the presentation is concerned, I love the presentation, right? I love the sort of romantic aesthetic to it with the heart on the front here. My final verdict on this fragrance is, if you're a fan of coffee and the way that coffee smells, you want something that smells fairly natural, but something that is quite different from everything else on the market, please check out the new Devotion Pour Homme by Dolce & Gabbana. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed this review. I hope it was helpful in some capacity. And of course, if it was, I would really appreciate it if you would consider supporting the channel by clicking subscribe, hitting the bell, and giving this video a thumbs up. And also let me know, what has your experience been either with the men's counterpart or the women's counterpart? I always love the interaction, so drop your comment down below. I would love to hear from you. Thanks again for watching. I love you all, and we'll see you tomorrow with a new episode. Bye.